Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our daily get-together live here on Facebook every morning at 10:30, where we get together to clear our throats, where we get together to talk about headlines, stories, ideas, suggestions, comments, topics, concerns, and all kinds of helpful information to make our lives better here in Puerto Vallarta as an English-speaking community. It is always great to see familiar faces, and it's great to see everybody happy that it's the end of the week. It is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Somebody said it's time to do the happy dance, so this is my take on the happy dance. Maybe I'll come up with another happy dance later on today. Wow, your comments are flying fast and furious, including Ernest Barton, who's watching for the first time. Welcome. Good morning to Coffee and Headlines. If this is your first time here, my name is Paco, and please let us know that you're new to Coffee and Headlines by writing the word new in your comments. This way, we will make sure to give you a proper welcome. Also, if you happen to have any specific questions or comments that you would like for us to address or try to answer during the broadcast, please add the letter Q at the beginning of your question. That way, we'll try to get to it during the broadcast, and if not, we'll definitely get to it right after the broadcast is over. Let's take a look. Let's see who's here, and let's see if there's any quick questions before we dive into the news. The news, it's really funny because I don't look for specific threads in the news. I just let the news unfold themselves and present themselves to me as I'm looking for headlines. We try to look for a balance between important news and fun leisurely news, and today's news seem to have a theme of their own, which is yes, but because there's news about things opening and we go yes, but who's going? There's news about vaccines, but who is going to feel comfortable getting pricked by these vaccines? Anyhow, we're going to have all kinds of interesting news and a couple of really crazy news, including I'm going to share an item that you shouldn't buy. And in fact, you should put it in your list of things that are kind of cute, but you shouldn't be spending money on, seriously. Let me take a quick look at who's here. Everybody's here, my goodness. Thomas asks me, am I ready for the weekend? Of course, I'm ready for the weekend. I have a nice dinner with a couple of friends tonight. I'm going to go with my friend Logan tomorrow to El Moro Paraíso to deliver more money for the horse co-op so that they can continue to feed their horses and they can continue to make a living giving horseback rides in that beautiful part of the outskirts of Puerto Vallarta. Let me take a look. Bidim bam bum bam bum bam bam. Jim is ready with his beer in hand. Good for you. It's a little early for beer for me, but I'm ready for my beer. Absolutely. William says, I wait till 10:30 for coffee. No, actually, I don't. This morning, as a matter of fact, Luna decided it was love time at 4:30 in the morning. So I've been up since 4:45 and I've started drinking coffee earlier. And in fact, I cheated. I prepped the show, and I was done prepping the show at about 7:30 in the morning today, and I went back to sleep. But don't tell anyone. That's just a Friday cheat. Michael's listening from Colorado Springs and watching. Hopefully, it is great to see you. It is great to see folks from all over the place. New and happy, Janique. I'm so glad that you're happy. I'm so glad that you're new. This is a place to hang out, Janique. It's called Coffee and Headlines. We entertain each other with good ideas and questions about our destination. So hopefully you'll have a good time sharing some time with us. I am absolutely being eaten with mosquitoes. They love me, and I've tried everything from vitamin B to Vicks Vapor Rub. And nothing seems to work for me, and I'm just sort of used to them. What is the place that have horses? Janique asks. Well, I'm specifically talking about a co-op in El Jorullo, which is a little section just outside of Puerto Vallarta, and there is a community of half a dozen tour guides that share horses to give horseback riding tours. I'll be able to share some information with you in the show notes. And since you're new, let me explain that the show notes is something that we put together right after each broadcast with all the links to everything that we talk about, so that once the show is over, you can take a look at whatever is important to you. And I'll make sure that I give you information about horseback riding tours and this particular fundraising initiative that my friend Logan is doing and that I'm helping him with. Yes, thank you to Logan for caring about the horses. Logan should always be up there. Speak of the devil. Here is Logan. So Logan, if you can help me out answering answering some questions about horseback riding, please let me know, or rather hold the hand of those people that were asking. And Trucha is absolutely right. We're trying to have a reasonable conversation here. We look for headlines that make sense, headlines that come from reliable sources, and occasionally, thanks to Trucha and a couple of other folks that join us every day, or almost every day, we invoke cultural icons from the past. And Trucha has been able to make me laugh out loud a couple of times with some invocations of television characters that we love. Burned sage in the house. Now that one I haven't tried for mosquitoes. Folks, if you have any specific suggestions about mosquitoes that we should try, please share them with us, because I think I've gone through all the possible suggestions. Negra Modelo is Mexican cappuccino. You know, if I was the Modelo beer company, Renee, I would steal that from you and I would have it turned into t-shirts or something. Mark asks, is there a Chinese restaurant locally? Yes, there is. There's a really good one. And of course, I'm going to have a pothead moment and I'm going to forget what the name of it is, but it is in Cinco de Diciembre. I know somebody is going to put it out there. Feng Lao, Feng Sao, Fei Long, Fei Zhong, Fei Long, something like that. I'm sure that somebody's going to fill in that gap, Mark. And if not, I promise I will get back to you with that information. Okay, so we are at the end of the beginning. At the end of the beginning. So let us dive into the news. Boom. Oh, yes, a pothead moment. Absolutely, Doreen. Doreen, they happen quite frequently here. Doreen laughs at the fact that I'm having a pothead moment. And before we get into more exciting things, Fei Long. Thank you very much, Logan. Fei Long is the name of the Chinese restaurant, and it is really, really wonderful. It's very sencillo. It's a restaurant that mostly, that I can see, caters to the local community, but I'm sure that a lot of people that are from the English-speaking community also visit this restaurant. Anyhow, back to our headlines. As I told you, there is this whole feeling of yes, but in the headlines, and we start with the fact that Mexico has been officially been invited to participate in the Russian Sputnik V vaccine trials. And this could start, if it's authorized, and I believe the authorization date would be sometime in October. We can expect that between 500 and 1,000 volunteers in Mexico will participate on the trials. And this is going to happen with in Russia is already working. They're working with 40,000 volunteers are dealing with this. And in Mexico, I read. Oh, here we go. In Mexico, a first trial has been applied in people between 18 and 60 years of age, and also will be applied in people over 61. It is a vaccine that is applied in two doses. You take the first dose, and then 21 days go by, and then you take the second dose of this vaccine. Of course, we get the but part of it. We find this interesting article in Vox that says an effective COVID vaccine isn't enough. People have to be willing to get it. And this, of course, speaks about what's going on in the United States and refers to some polling and so forth and so on. But it is interesting how these things open, and whether they're, vaccines available, or restaurants, or cities, or beaches, or flights. But one has to wonder, how comfortable are we ready to go and participate? On another matter, apparently somebody has been working on a home do-it-yourself COVID test, a self-diagnosis test that is going to be available for purchase in December. This is a pharmaceutical company called Sanofi here in Mexico, and all that is needed for this particular do-it-yourself test is to measure, or all you use is your breath. So you breathe into this thing, and 30 minutes later, you find out if you have COVID or not. This is the first I've heard about such a test, and we don't know how much it's going to cost, but it is presently being tried out. So we'll have to see how that works. Interesting. This is new news for me, and I wonder what you think about this. And then switching gears, hotels in Puerto Vallarta are launching or working on this campaign in which they're inviting tourists from Mexico City and Guadalajara to come spend the weekend with us, taking advantage of the fact that it takes 1 hour to fly from Mexico City to Puerto Vallarta, and it takes 4.5 hours to drive from Guadalajara. So they're pushing our destination in good reason. Obviously, they're trying to reactivate the tourism economy. And for international travelers, there is a new flight between Canada and Puerto Vallarta, specifically from Calgary and Puerto Vallarta, thanks to WestJet. This is going to start in the following month, during the month of October. We also learned that Aeromexico is increasing national flights during the month of September, making it easier for people to connect with our destination. And but of course, the but side of that is I actually caught this yesterday as I was watching PBS News in the evening, that Americans are flying much less during the pandemic, and will airlines survive? And it was a really interesting, insightful, like many things PBS does, feature in which they interview members of the airline industry, journalists that used to cover the airline industry and used to fly a lot and now are not flying as much, and so forth and so on. So are we ready for this? That's the big question. These things are starting to happen, but we don't know exactly how comfortable we are yet with all of them. Let me take a quick look at your comments to see if there are any big questions that we should address. Boom, bam, boom, boom, boom. Noel asks, where are non-hospital COVID test sites inside PV, if those exist? Any pharmacies, local COVID clinics, etc.? Do they take private pay? I know of at least one doctor that does COVID-19 tests, and she will even come to your home. So I know that is available, and I see that other people are adding other options like San Pablo Labs, and so forth and so on. And this is all good news. SETAC, which is a local AIDS and HIV community center, is doing it. Thank you for that. Another confirmation of SETAC. I love this part of you guys that you are so helpful to one another. Questions. Sherry asks, will there be temperature checking inside of the airport for incoming passengers? This is important. Of course it is important, but I don't know, Sherry, because I represent a small little business enterprise, which is me. And probably the airport would be a better place to ask that question from. If anybody has been flying recently into Puerto Vallarta, please comment if you can as to whether temperature testing is taking place in the airport. Oh, interesting. Michael comments on a COVID breath test approved in the United States. So this is coming. Interesting. Isn't Mexico City and Guadalajara where the virus is bad? Asks Steve Elfers. Well, Mexico City and Guadalajara are places where the virus is not good, but it's definitely not so bad as other places in the country. If you want to go back, Steve, to this past Monday's broadcast, you will see the charts of how different states are doing in comparison to the state of Jalisco, which is our state, and so forth and so on. We usually go over those stats on every Monday here at Coffee and Headlines. You're welcome, Noel. I'm glad that this is working out for you, and this is what I love about getting together with you every morning. Kimberly answers another question. I've been flying from US to PV, and temperature was taken upon arrival into PV and when leaving PV to fly. Thank you very much. Mark asks for the home testing doctor. If I can find the information right now. No, I'll share it with you all once we are done, just to make it easier on everybody. Na 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 na. We were okay. So we continue. Oh, more confirmation of temperature checks. Excellent. So we can continue now with our headlines. Let's see what is coming next. Oh yes, the crocodiles are here. Another crocodile has been sighted in the beach at Playa Las Glorias. And I love this headline because the headline says they asked for you not to bother them. They are harmless. Harmless my ass. I am sorry, but these creatures are not harmless. And of course, they will attack if you're stupid enough to get close enough to them. But it is important to talk about the crocodiles, what happens, because crocodiles here, the crocodiles that you can find in the bay are of the species Cocodrilo acutus or Cocodrilo americano. And these are species that feel comfortable either in salt water or fresh water. And what happens during the rain season is that crocodiles tend to get away from their usual habitat because they're very territorial, and they're bound to look for other places where they can go. And when the salinity of the water maybe decreases somewhat with the rain season, they are more likely to be seen out and about on the beach during the rain season. Are they harmless? Of course not. Do you want to get close to one of them? I don't think so. But yes, for better or worse, they have been spotted, and they will continue to be spotted. Mark was asking for the contact information for Dr. Ana Calderon, and there she is. Ana Calderon took my COVID-19 test, came to my home when I was feeling a little concerned. She was absolutely wonderful, and I can definitely recommend her as well. Thank you very much, Paul, for that. And Paul says that he's come across a lot of the Crocodilo Americanos here. I'm sure you haven't seen them in your swimming pool, but then again, I've come to some of your parties and I've found a lot of crocodiles there. No, I'm just kidding. Back to news. Our mayor, Mayor Davalos, is getting ready to offer his fifth government address. We remember quickly that Mayor Davalos, Arturo Davalos, is on his second term, second consecutive term as mayor of Puerto Vallarta, and he will be addressing the citizenship virtually this year on this coming September 10th, so we can all find out what the mayor has been up to, so forth and so on. He has alternated in past years from having very small and self-contained addresses, and then I believe last year or the year before he had a huge to-do at the convention center, and this year, due to the circumstances, obviously he's going to have his address available digitally, or online rather, and of course some of us will be watching, and we will be looking for talking points just to see what the mayor is all about, or what he will let us know that he's been up to. Let's see. Oh, fancy. Terry says that there are some temperature sensors mounted at the airport. They take your temperature without you noticing. I wonder if they look through your clothes as well. That would be kind of sexy and perverted at the same time. Pay no attention to me. It's Friday. I'm just getting ready for Sunday fun day. Let's see. Many years ago, I had an older Mexican gentleman telling me they're referred to as tourists, the crocodile Americans. Oh, what do you know? Interesting. All these wonderful things that I learned from you today. You guys are too much. Let's see. The next headline, I didn't know if I should include it in the serious headline or the leisurely headlines. And I think the way today's broadcast is going, I'm going to quickly shift this next headline into the leisurely section, because we seem to be in a slightly silly frame of mind. So let us change gears for a second. But first, the weather. As you know, we always take a look at the weather. The weather today asks a very important question. Why aren't hurricanes named after vegetables? That's a really good question. 28 degrees Celsius feels like 35. It is 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity is 97%, so it's going to be one of them days. Wind, there's not a lot of wind, and there's a 5% chance of rain at the present time. We look at the forecast for today. We're going to get rain in the morning. Somehow I don't think it's going to rain in the morning because it hasn't rained this morning. Boom, ba-dum, bum, bum. Rain in the evening and overnight for tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, rain and humid throughout the day. We see the weather tells us this is what's going on. Very quickly, I see that Trisha is here. Hello, Trisha. We're always happy to see you because Trisha is my hero. Trisha, if you don't know her, she has the Puerto Vallarta Facebook group, the big one, the real one. Everything, I always forget the exact name, but the big, everything you could ask for, any question you would have. Trisha, don't hate me for not remembering the name of your Facebook group, but I love Trisha and I respect Trisha because she has a huge group. There's a lot of people there asking all kinds of questions. Some of them are really important. Actually, all of them are important. Some of them are, all kinds of questions. And Trisha always finds the best way to moderate her community. And of course, she tells us she's late to the party. Aeromar is doing quick blood tests at the airport, and this is not the first time that we report. Just 2 days ago, we reported about another airline that is also beginning to do rapid testing when you are about to board your plane. It is clearly not going to rain this morning in Nueva Vallarta. I'll drink to that. And Noel, yes, this is the way it goes. I'm so glad that you feel happier. We feel happy most of the time. Every now and then we get ugly when people get ugly. So we try to keep things cordial and constructive and productive. Anyhow, I hope you find my first leisurely headline as humorous as I find it humorous. The mobility, the tráfico, the transit department in the state of Jalisco has announced that you will be fined up to 434 pesos if you don't use your turn signals. Turn signals. Remember turn signals? Uh, Favorite pet peeve of mine driving here in Puerto Vallarta is the fact that people here, a lot of people here, don't understand turn signals. So now we're going to get fined for not using turn signals. I am so sorry. Uh, I just thought it was funny because I never see anybody using turn signals in town. And what can I say? It was funny when I saw it. Never mind. Oh, Tracy, thank you very much for that. Of course, I know what it is. I just forget the name because it is so long. Everything you need or want to know. Thank you very much for that. Terry laughs with me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And this is true. Oh my God, what Terry says, turn signals can be very different in the highway. For example, it is common that in Mexican highways, somebody if somebody's driving slow and they're letting you know to pass, they will do a left turn signal, which in the city would mean that the driver is about to turn left. So you would not want to pass the driver. It's complicated. Turn signals are just evil. Whether you use them or not. What can I say? I always use my turn signals because I drove in Boston for almost 20 years, and that was crazy enough for me. Do you remember Julie Taymor? Changing topics altogether. Julie Taymor is this wonderful, creative, crazy movie and opera and theater director. We know her because she did Frida, the movie. We know her because she did that wonderful movie with Beatles music. The name escapes me right now. We know Julie Taymor because she did an incredibly inventive version of the Magic Flute for the Met. She also did all the costumes and all the production behind The Lion King. And what we love about her is that she combines puppetry and animation with all her movies, etc., etc. So what is Julie Taymor up to right now? Well, you might miss this because it's going to be released on Amazon Prime Video, but her next project, which will become available on the 30th of this month, is called The Glorious, and it is a biographical piece on Gloria Steinem. And am I saying that correctly? I certainly hope so. It is Gloria Steinem. Yes, journalist, fighter, and feminist Gloria Steinem. I've seen the trailer, and it's really wonderful. And the cast is amazing. It includes Bette Midler, of all people. So I'm going to leave this with you so you can enjoy it. It is the weekend, and hopefully you will enjoy this as much as I have. And it is not yesterday. It's Across the Universe. Across the Universe. And if you have not watched Across the Universe by Julie Taymor, it is absolutely essential. And yes, that's what I was talking about, Titus Andronicus. But she also did The Tempest. I'm almost positive that she did a version of Shakespeare's The Tempest. I could be wrong. Anyhow, The Glorious coming on Amazon Prime. That is something that I'm definitely going to want to watch. It is, of course, Labor Day weekend in the United States. And as always, we take advantage of 7 Things to Do on Labor Day weekend, or 7 Things to Do on the Weekend by the New York Times. And I'm going to leave that with you. The New York Times always leaves us with fun and interesting things to enjoy. This next piece is a little sad, but I thought I would share it with you. I wonder if you wonder, this is, of course, our Independence Day month, and we're going to be talking about all kinds of Mexican independence things throughout the month. And today we talk a little bit about the flags. You know, we get to September, and all of a sudden you go to the supermarket or stoplights while you're driving, and we start seeing all these flurries of red, green, and white. And of course, we see all the merchandise and the traditional dresses and the flags that you can buy because we celebrate our Mexican independence. Well, all these flags are being made, you may not know this, in a small town in the outskirts of Toluca, which is the capital city for the state of Mexico, not the country Mexico. We actually have a state that is called the state of Mexico. And this is right outside of Mexico City. And but unfortunately, this is the year in which, with so many Independence Day festivities being canceled all over the country, the families that devote themselves to making flags have realized that 90% of their workload for flags is shut down. So what are they doing? They're making face masks. I would love to find a Mexican flag face mask. Although, curiously enough, in Mexico, it is not lawful to wear the Mexican flag. So how could I have a face mask with a Mexican flag if I could get arrested for wearing it? I'll have to do some homework on that, and I'll let you know what I find. Before I reveal my useless purchase of the day, because it is totally useless, but I had to laugh when I saw it, let me take a look at some of your last minute questions. We're about to wrap things up here. Let's take a look. Bam, ba-dum, bum, bim, bam, 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 ba-dum, bam, bam. Massachusetts would never have any budget issues if they fined for that. Well, neither would we, David. And it's funny you would say that about Massachusetts, because I learned how to drive in Boston. And so I know all about making sure that I do my turn signals where I have to, and so forth and so on. Jamie says that when he got his driver's license, turn signals was a noticeably missing topic. That's very, very funny. And Michal is perfectly correct. This is why we walk an Uber. Who can blame the Uber driver for not doing the turn signal? Of course, until he or she gets into an accident. Oh, it is going to be so amazing, Paul. I've already seen the trailer, and it is fantastic. It is really, really fantastic. The link is coming with the show notes in a second. And let me amuse you with the most strange purchase, cultural appropriation nightmare you could possibly buy today. And I am referring, I wish I had a drum roll, but I don't. I will use the applause. Can I use the applause on this one? You can now buy a Day of the Dead Barbie Katrina. Yes, this is the official. Who the fuck comes up with these kinds of things? Mattel announced that their most famous doll, hello, comes out with a second. Oh, so this happened before. The second edition of Barbie dressed up as Katrina in a white dress that does not even look Day of the Deadish. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you. Anyhow, that's something that I'm not going to be buying. Definitely. If anything, I will be praying that we will be able to celebrate our Day of the Dead with the same kind of dignity and fun, because it is a dignity and fun event in Mexico. I certainly hope that we'll be able to celebrate it with dignity this year. Of course, we will not know that just yet. Day of the Dead comes up in the 1st and 2nd of November, and it's our annual celebration in which, yes, we paint our faces and we participate and we get campy and we get funny. But Barbie? Seriously? I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm getting older. But Terry calls it a Barbie fail. And Noel asks, is this a Coco spin-off situation? I don't think it's a Coco thing. If anything, Coco was such an endearing movie that was set in Mexico, and it had Mexican characters and so forth and so on. And it held hands with the tradition. This Barbie doll, well, I'm not going to let the Barbie doll ruin my day, because it is Friday. I'm going to have a great day, and I hope that you're going to have a great day too. Which brings us to the end of today's Coffee and Headlines. Today just flew by because It's Friday. It was a great day with all kinds of news. As always, I remind you that this is a community based project, and I am so grateful to all of you for being part of this community. As we're getting ready to celebrate our first 6 months, I have been looking at numbers of Facebook likes, of how many people have clicked on the like button on this Facebook page, on how many people are following on YouTube, on how many people have become members in helping support these pursuits. And I am just so incredibly happy to be part of such an amazing community. You guys rock, and you guys make me want to wake up every morning and dig up interesting things to share with you because you're receptive. You share interesting things with me, and it just works beautifully as far as I'm concerned. So, if today you are happy to have been here, if you found some information useful, helpful, or otherwise we made you laugh, please consider supporting Coffee and Headlines. It keeps us alive. It keeps us happy. It keeps Luna well fed. I try to get her today, but Luna has decided she's not making any television appearances today. Maybe tomorrow she will join me in the broadcast. Anyhow, as always, stay happy, stay safe, stay kind, stay generous, stay hungry. And if you're hungry, go out and have a nice meal at a local restaurant. And most important, stay in touch. And hopefully we'll get together again tomorrow. Have a great day.